angels are real. Just like the movie City of Angels, starring Meg Ryan and Nicolas Cage. Has anyone seen that movie? Yes. All right. Cage is Seth, the angel who falls in love with Meg Ryan and makes the choice to become human so he can be with her. Now, I don't know if the angels can hang around in the library reading books like the ones in the movie, but I know that they do hang around us, and they're looking out for us when they do. Now, when I was 26 and I was living the dream, I was climbing the corporate ladder, living in North Carolina. I've been living in Chapel Hill for quite some time and have used to bought a house in Durham. Every Christmas, I bought my tree from the same tree nursery near the mall. For this December Saturday afternoon, I went there to get my tree. When I pulled up in the parking lot, there was a beat-up-looking pickup truck parked diagonally across from me. Now, I don't care where you are, wherever Christmas time comes, you see all sorts of people that you never see before just coming out of the woodwork, strange people. So, in the truck bed, there were 3 very dirty-looking women. They were Caucasian, their hair wasn't combed, and the hair was literally sticking up all over. And they were actually wearing potato sacks as clothing. I was taken aback. I nearly thought of the movie Deliverance, because it was clear that they'd actually come down from the mountains. And that was something that I did see during the Christmas times, that people did come down from the mountains in North Carolina. So I entered the nursery and began to walk the tree lot looking for a tree. I did not see anyone in the immediate area, but I had a funny feeling suddenly. I could not shake that feeling, so I left the tree lot and went inside to the potted plant area. There I saw a man staring at me. He had long black hair past his shoulders and had a beard that literally went down to his nape. His overalls were filthy and his eyes were like shiny black marbles that looked like green. He was clearly the driver of the pickup truck with the women in the back. I walked around a bit, and wherever I went, he was there. I tried not to look at him, but whenever I glanced up, he was always staring at me. I decided that I needed to get my tree and get out of there as soon as possible. But it was very busy. Everybody and their brother was buying trees that day. After about 5 minutes, I lost sight of the man in the overalls, and I went back to the tree lot to hopefully find a clerk who could help me so I could get my tree and get out of there. Suddenly, a nursery employee approached me. He says, "Ma'am, I think you're in danger." I froze. Then he says, "Do you know what I'm talking about?" And I said, "Yes." My mind was racing. He then said, "I'm going to help you get out of here, but you have to go now." He says, "I have someone else with that man in the overalls." He asked me if I found a tree. I told him yes, and I pointed to it. He grabbed it up and he proceeded to walk very fast to the exit. I told him to wait because he didn't pay for the tree. He says, "Don't even worry about it. You just have to take this tree and have to get out of here because you are in danger." I followed him, and within about 5 minutes, he had the tree strapped to the top of my car. He told me to go, be safe, be sure I took the long way home. And I did. I sped away from the area and I drove for like an hour, looking back and forth, making sure that nobody was following me. Now I know that that angel was my that employee was my guardian angel that day. When I hear stories today on the news of women vanishing and then being found or escaped basements after being held captive for many, many years, I know that that employee saved me from that fate that day. Guardian angels, they really are there when you need them. I had another scare when I came back here to Charleston. My daughter was in elementary school at Orange Grove, and I took her to school every single day. We always went to the same route like clockwork. You see the same people following your routines all the time. You see the same people, taking out their garbage, going for a walk, the same woman dragging their garbage bin to the side of the street. It's all routine. It's the same thing day after day, week after week, coming and going. So this particular morning, I was on my way back home from dropping my daughter off at school. At first, there was nobody behind me on Orange Grove Road, West Ashley. Then I noticed a car in the distance. I made the right turn from Orange Grove to a road that would take me back through the neighborhoods to get back home. Suddenly, a car zoomed up behind me and did the sudden stop. The brakes screeched. I thought they were going to hit me. Then they backed off, and then somebody zoomed up again and did the sudden stop again. This happened about 2 more times, and I knew I had some crazy person following me. The bad thing about where I was is that I was going through the neighborhood. There was no public place to get to, and there were very little people around. There was no police station anywhere nearby. Again, the driver kept doing the same thing, zooming up and stopping and screeching behind me. I looked in the rearview mirror, and there was a crazy person in that car. I could see somebody with wild hair. He was screaming. You know, his hands were waving around. I knew I had some crazy person following me. I was terrified. I kept driving normally, and suddenly I remembered there was a fire station not too far away on Ashley Plantation Road. I would try to get there. I was also approaching the only stop sign where we would both come to at the same time, very close. He was posing for another sudden stop and screeching. I stopped at the stop sign, and to my left, I saw a woman on the cross street, not too far away in the corner. And she was walking her dog. Her back was to me. She was not part of the daily routine. I'd never, ever seen her before. Suddenly, out of the blue, as her back is to me, she turns around and she waves, like she knows me, she waves. And I wave back to her. It seemed normal, that wave, but it wasn't. Who was she? The driver behind me must have seen that wave because suddenly he did a circle. He screeched out of here and went back the way we came. I think he knew that someone saw me being in trouble. All of this took less than a minute, maybe even just a few seconds. I made my right turn and I immediately glanced back. I wanted to get another look at the woman with the dog. There was nobody there. She'd actually vanished in the blink of an eye. I believe she was my guardian angel that day. For an entire week, I stayed in that neighborhood. I went looking for her. I drove around down the streets looking for her, and I never, ever saw that woman again. And she really did just vanish. Guardian angels, they really are there when you need them the most. This time I'm in college. It was a spring day at the College of Charleston, and I was on my way from the 30 houses on Wentworth Street to class. I was near the Stern Center when I felt a plop on my left shoulder. It was a light plop, but what could it be? I looked over and it was the bug I fear the most in the world. Everyone says that these bugs were actually good, that they eat the nuisance bugs, but they're wrong. I have looked on Google and I've seen the pictures where they've actually ripped out the throats of hummingbirds. You know what I'm talking about? So they're actually predators. So on my shoulder was a giant praying mantis. It was looking up at me with that alien triangular head. Its eyes were spinning. I'm sure I was panicking at this point. But it was rocking back and forth. And I began to scream and sputter and cry. I dropped all my books and in my panic tried to brush off my shoulder. Its talons dug into me. It held on to the traitor. Suddenly, I knew there was another benefit to living here in Charleston. We are a beach town. We're a resort town. People wear resort clothes here. I mentally decided that the bra was the same thing as a bikini top. So, in that instant, off came that shirt. Because I was going to get that mantis off of me. So there I was, shirtless, standing on Leaf Street in my bra, crying and sputtering about a praying mantis. Another student saw my plight and realized the struggle was real. He came over to help me. I was like talking to him, trying to figure out what was happening. He realized there was something in my clothing. He got the mantis off my shirt, helped me get my books together, shirt back on, and we both went our merry way to classes. I thanked him very much. And I've never forgotten him because he was the guardian angel student that saved me from a death by mantis. Guardian angels, they really are there when we need them. I'm a believer now, whether they're literally giving your life back to you when somebody is trying to take it, or they're saving you from the bug you hate the worst in the world. They watch over us. They are real. And finally, I leave you with this. This is a scripture, Hebrews 13:2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers. For literally, some have entertained angels unaware. Thank you.